in-depth look at the Colorado River. I want to bring in Alejandra Barunda, a National Geographic environment writer.
For more than a century, the Grand Canyon has been viewed as one of the safest, most well-studied natural wonders on the planet, a place where tourists take photos, where hikers wander trails carved by ancient rivers, and where scientists confidently lecture about millions of years of geological history. But recently, deep inside a restricted section of the canyon, researchers uncovered something that does not fit any known timeline, culture, or scientific model. A discovery so disturbing, so impossible, and so deeply buried that experts are refusing to comment publicly. Today, on Epoch Secrets, we are pulling back the curtain on the Grand Canyon discovery that scientists wish had remained hidden, because what they found deep inside those ancient rocks isn't just confusing, it's terrifying. Let's begin. The place no one is allowed to explore. Most people don't know this, but large sections of the Grand Canyon are completely off limits to the public, not because of safety, not because of wildlife, but because the U.S. government has sealed them off for archaeological protection. Sounds reasonable, until you learn what happened inside one of those forbidden cliffs. Researchers were conducting a geological survey near a remote ledge on the North Rim when they noticed an unnatural opening too perfectly shaped to be the result of erosion, too symmetrical to be an accident. It was a narrow, triangular entrance carved directly into the canyon wall. There were no records of any cave there. No official maps showed it, and yet the entrance was unmistakably man-made. According to one of the team members, the moment they stepped inside, everything felt wrong. A subterranean network no one expected. Once they squeezed through the entrance, the small opening expanded into a massive interior chamber, so large their lights couldn't find the ceiling. The walls were smooth, but not naturally polished. They showed intentional shaping, almost as if entire teams of ancient workers had carved them with a technology that no known civilization in North America possessed at the time. The deeper the team ventured, the more the architecture shifted. Straight lines, perfect angles, symmetrical pillars, a hallway so long they couldn't see the end. This wasn't a natural cave system. This was a structure. But here's where the scientists became unsettled. The style of the carvings didn't match any Native American, Mesoamerican, or early Old World design. They didn't look Egyptian. They didn't look Greek. They didn't look Chinese. They resembled nothing in any historical record. It was as if a forgotten civilization had carved its own world inside the rock and then vanished. The first chamber of anomalies. Eventually, the team reached a chamber containing strange stone platforms arranged in a circular pattern around a central pedestal. The room looked ceremonial, but ceremonial for what? On the pedestal lay objects that forced the team to stop moving entirely. Not bones, not daily tools, something far stranger. There were stone tablets covered in symbols that didn't match any known writing system on Earth. No curves, no pictographs, only complex geometric patterns carved with precision impossible for primitive tools. One scientist described the markings as language that feels too mathematical, too perfect, too intentional. Experts who later examined photos could not agree if it was writing or something beyond writing. But that wasn't the terrifying part. The discovery of the impossible mummies. Near the rear of the chamber, researchers found niches carved into the walls. Inside them were figures, human-shaped, wrapped tightly in brittle, linen-like material, not lying like Egyptian mummies, but standing upright, facing the entrance, as if on guard. Their height, between 7 and 9 feet tall. Their arms were abnormally long, their skulls elongated, their rib cages thick and strangely shaped. Tests later showed something even more shocking. The wrappings were thousands of years older than any known civilization in North America. This single fact broke every rule of anthropology. If the dating was correct, these beings lived or were buried long before Native American cultures formed. When news of the discovery leaked, the scientific community exploded with panic and denial, because if these mummies were real, they didn't just challenge human history, they shattered it, the room that should not exist. Trying to understand what they had found, the team pushed deeper. They eventually entered a room that researchers now call the impossible chamber, because what they found inside had no right being in a canyon in Arizona. On the floor, carved in a massive circle, was a map not of the Grand Canyon, not of the Americas, not of any known continent. Instead, it depicted landmasses and coastlines that do not exist anywhere on modern Earth. Island clusters placed in areas where the ocean is now thousands of feet deep, a polar region completely free of ice, mountain ranges in unexpected places, river systems that match none today. One scientist who viewed the map said it felt less like a record of the past and more like a record of a world before the world. The strange energy in the cave. Several team members reported something even stranger as they approached the map. Their instruments malfunctioned, compasses spun erratically, batteries drained instantly. One researcher felt a vibration in the rock almost like the canyon itself was humming. It wasn't seismic activity. It wasn't wind. It wasn't water. It was something else, something coming from the structure. Scientists rarely use the word energy anomaly, but that is exactly the term written in the early internal report. Whatever built that map didn't just carve rock, it manipulated the environment in ways we don't understand. The statue that defies identification. Behind the map stood a towering statue about 12 feet tall, carved from a single block of dark stone. Its face was unlike any human face, with features that looked part human, part animal, part something else entirely. Its eyes were shaped like a hawk. Its jaw was angular and elongated. Its posture was rigid, as if protecting the map behind it. The statue's hands were the most unsettling, long fingers ending in blunt, wide tips, as if designed for carving or gripping massive objects. There was nothing like it in any museum on Earth. The entire sculpture radiated a sense of authority, an unspoken message that this figure mattered to the civilization that built the chamber. Was it a king, a deity, a guardian? No one knows. But the statue's existence suggests this civilization wasn't simply advanced, they were structured, organized, and culturally complex. The exit tunnel no one can explain. Past the statue, a narrow descending tunnel extended deep into the rock. The walls were carved with spiraling patterns that seemed to pulse when illuminated by flashlight. When explorers tried to go deeper, their lights flickered again. Then something worse happened. A low sound reverberated through the tunnel like a distant growl mixed with a vibration. The team froze, listening, unsure whether it was structural shifting or something else. The sound grew louder. Something was moving, not rushing, not approaching aggressively, but shifting like something large, adjusting its position deep within the earth. Fearing collapse or something far more dangerous, researchers turned back. None of them have publicly discussed what they heard, but those who examined their notes say the team described the sound as alive. The sudden government intervention. 2 days after the initial exploration, federal authorities arrived and sealed the entrance. The team was ordered to surrender all recordings, samples, and data. They were told not to speak to the media. Within 48 hours, the entire site was classified. The cave was blocked with reinforced barriers. New warning signs were installed. Satellite imaging was restricted. All public access to this region became prohibited due to environmental instability. No official explanation was ever given, but several scientists involved in the discovery admitted privately that they were visited by officials who told them the site posed significant cultural and national interest concerns. In other words, the truth is too dangerous. Why this discovery terrifies scientists? There are 4 major implications, each one terrifying. A lost civilization existed in North America long before any known culture, older than the Clovis people, older than any Native American tribe, older than Egypt, Sumer, or China. 2. That civilization possessed advanced engineering skills, carved chambers, mathematical symbols, perfect geometry inside solid rock. 3. They were anatomically different from modern humans. The 9-foot mummies, with elongated limbs, suggest a species or a variation of humanity long forgotten. 4. Their world map suggests Earth was once completely different, perhaps before the last ice age, perhaps before a cataclysm wiped everything clean, perhaps before humanity as we know it began. Scientists don't fear the cave itself. They fear what it means. History as we know it may be wrong. Civilizations may have risen and fallen long before our textbooks begin. Humanity may not be the first advanced species on Earth, and the Grand Canyon discovery threatens to expose all of it. The frightening unanswered questions. If that civilization existed, who were they? Where did they come from? Why were their remains hidden so deep underground? Did they escape something? Survive something? Or were they trying to protect the knowledge carved inside those walls? And the most terrifying question, are there more chambers still hidden in the canyon? Some geologists believe the walls of the Grand Canyon contain hundreds of sealed rooms, uncharted, unexplored, and waiting. If just one chamber caused this much fear, imagine what else the canyon might be hiding. So the next time you stand at the Grand Canyon's edge, remember this. Beneath those breathtaking cliffs, beneath the silence and the beauty, lies something ancient, powerful, and deeply unsettling, and the world is still trying to figure out what it means. If you want more hidden history, forbidden discoveries, and mysteries the world was never meant to uncover, make sure you subscribe to Epoch Secrets, because here we reveal the truths buried beneath the surface. Until next time, stay curious, stay alert, and never stop looking deeper.